The man who almost killed her found her. The man who saved her didn't hesitate. And once he moved, there was no going back. Nora Quinn didn't plan to die tonight. But as she stumbled through the dark alley, vision blurring, blood soaking through her shirt, she realized planning didn't matter anymore. Her ex-boyfriend had finally done it. Ethan had crossed the line she thought he'd never cross. 5 years of manipulation. 5 years of control. But tonight he'd brought friends. And knives. She pressed her hand against the wound on her side. Warm. Wet. Too much blood. Keep moving. Just keep moving. The alley opened onto a quiet street. Expensive cars. Tall buildings. The kind of neighborhood she'd never belonged in. But her legs were giving out. Her vision was tunneling. And then she saw it. A door. Black. Heavy. Gold numbers, 47. She didn't think. She just moved. Her knuckles hit the wood once. Twice. Then her legs buckled. The last thing Nora felt was the cold concrete rising to meet her face. Inside, Roman Ashford was pouring his second whiskey when he heard it. A knock. Hesitant. Weak. He didn't get visitors. Not at his home. Not ever. His hand moved to the gun at his waist as he crossed the marble floor. Years of instinct. Years of enemies. He opened the door expecting a threat. What he found was a woman. Collapsed. Bleeding. Barely breathing. Roman didn't move for 3 full seconds. He'd seen death before. Caused it. Ordered it. Watched it. But something about the way her hand was still reaching toward his door, like she'd used her last bit of strength to get here, made him pause. He scanned the street. Empty. No cars. No movement. Whoever did this was either gone or stupid. Roman crouched down and pressed 2 fingers to her neck. Pulse. Faint, but there. He should have called the police. Should have walked back inside and pretended he never opened the door. Instead, he slid his arms under her body and lifted her like she weighed nothing. Stupid, he thought. But he carried her inside anyway. Nora woke to the smell of leather and expensive cologne. Her eyes cracked open slowly. The ceiling above her was dark wood. Chandelier. The kind of place you see in magazines, not real life. She tried to sit up. Pain exploded through her side and she gasped, falling back against the pillows. Don't move. The voice came from across the room. Deep. Calm. Cold. Nora turned her head. A man sat in a chair by the window, a glass of something amber in his hand. He was watching her the way a predator watches prey. Dark eyes. Sharp jaw. Suit that probably cost more than her rent. He didn't smile. Where am I? Her voice cracked. My home. Who are you? Someone you should be thanking. Nora's hand moved instinctively to her side. Bandages. Clean. Professional. You patched me up? I had someone do it. Why? Roman took a slow sip of his drink. You collapsed at my door. I made a choice. There was something in the way he said it. Like it was a choice he didn't make often. Maybe never. Nora tried to process. The last thing she remembered was Ethan. The alley. Running. Ethan. Her heart rate spiked. I need to go. She pushed herself up, ignoring the fire in her ribs. You're in no condition to go anywhere. You don't understand. I understand more than you think. His voice didn't rise. Didn't need to. It cut through the room like a blade. Whoever did that to you will do it again. And next time, you won't make it to anyone's door. Nora froze. He stood and walked toward her. Slow. Controlled. He stopped a few feet from the bed. You have 2 options, Roman said. You leave now and take your chances. Or you stay until you're strong enough to survive what's waiting for you out there. His eyes didn't leave hers. And for the first time in 5 years, Nora didn't feel like she was being controlled. She felt like she was being given a choice. I don't even know your name, she whispered. Roman. I'm Nora. He nodded once. Like her name didn't matter. Like names rarely did in his world. Rest, he said. We'll talk when you're stronger. Then he walked out of the room and closed the door behind him. Nora stared at the ceiling. What the hell just happened? Would you trust him? 3 days passed. Nora barely saw Roman. Meals appeared on the nightstand. Fresh bandages. Painkillers. Everything she needed. Delivered by a woman named Grace who didn't ask questions and didn't make eye contact. But Nora heard him. Late at night. Footsteps in the hallway. Voices, low, sharp, speaking in a language she didn't recognize. Phone calls that ended with silence. On the 4th day, she was strong enough to walk. She found him in the living room, standing by the window, phone pressed to his ear. I don't care what he says. Handle it. He ended the call and slipped the phone into his pocket without turning around. You're moving better, he said. Thanks to you. Thanks to antibiotics and luck. Nora stepped closer. Why are you helping me? Roman finally turned. His expression was unreadable. You think I'm helping you? Aren't you? I made sure you didn't die on my doorstep. That's not the same thing. The words should have stung. But Nora had spent 5 years with a man who smiled while he hurt her. At least Roman was honest. Then what do you want from me? She asked. Nothing. Nobody does something for nothing. Roman tilted his head slightly, studying her. You're right, he said. Most people don't. He walked past her toward the bar and poured himself a drink. What happened to you that night? He asked without looking at her. Nora hesitated. My ex-boyfriend. He do that? Roman gestured toward her side. Him and 2 of his friends. Why? Because I tried to leave. The silence that followed was heavy. Roman turned, glass in hand, eyes colder than she'd ever seen them. Where is he now? I don't know. I ran. Does he know where you are? No. I don't think so. Roman took a slow sip. You don't think so? Or you don't know? I don't know. He set the glass down. Then he's looking for you. The words hit her like ice water. You need to understand something, Nora. Roman's voice was quiet now. Dangerously quiet. Men like that don't stop. They don't forgive. They don't forget. If he finds you, he'll finish what he started. I know. Do you? She met his eyes. Yes. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Roman reached into his jacket and pulled out a phone. He tossed it onto the couch. That's yours. Untraceable. If you need anything, my number's already in it. Nora stared at the phone. Why are you doing this? Roman didn't answer right away. He just looked at her. Really looked at her. Because nobody should die begging at a stranger's door, he finally said. Then he walked out of the room. And Nora realized something that made her chest tighten. She wasn't afraid of him. She was afraid of how safe she felt. A week in Roman's home taught Nora 3 things. 1. He was never truly alone. Men in suits came and went. They didn't speak to her, didn't look at her, but they were always there. 2. Roman didn't sleep much. She'd hear him moving through the house at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., sometimes not at all. 3. He was hiding something. And whatever it was dangerous. She found him in his office one night. The door was cracked open. He sat behind a massive desk, papers spread in front of him, a gun resting casually beside his laptop. He looked up when she knocked. Can't sleep, he asked. Not really. He gestured to the chair across from him. Sit. She did. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Just the quiet hum of the city outside. You've been here over a week, Roman said. You haven't asked to leave. Would you let me? Yes. The answer surprised her. Then why haven't I? She asked softly. Roman leaned back in his chair. Because you know what's waiting for you out there. And what's waiting for me here? His eyes locked on hers. That depends on what you choose to see. Nora felt her pulse quicken. What do you do, Roman? I solve problems. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting. She should have been scared. Should have run. But instead, she leaned forward. I'm not stupid, she said. I see the men. The phones. The way people look at you. You're not a businessman. No, Roman admitted. I'm not. Then what are you? He stood slowly, walked around the desk, and stopped in front of her. I'm someone you shouldn't trust, he said quietly. But for reasons I don't fully understand, I'm also someone who won't let anything happen to you while you're under this roof. Nora's breath caught. Is that a promise? Roman's jaw tightened. It's a fact. And in that moment, Nora made a choice. She wasn't leaving. Not yet. Is he protecting her or controlling her? 2 weeks in, Nora started to notice the small things. The way Roman's shoulders tensed when his phone rang. The way he'd stare out the window for long stretches, lost in something she couldn't see. The way he never, ever let anyone get too close. One night, she found him on the balcony. Alone. Smoking a cigarette. She'd never seen him smoke before. Bad day, she asked, stepping outside. He didn't turn. You could say that. She stood beside him, leaning against the railing. Want to talk about it? No. Want me to leave you alone? He glanced at her. No. They stood in silence. The city lights stretched out below them like a sea of stars. Do you ever regret it? Nora asked quietly. Regret what? The things you've done. Roman took a long drag. Every day. The honesty in his voice broke something open in her chest. Then why keep doing them? Because regret doesn't change the past. It just reminds you who you are. Nora looked at him. Really looked at him. And who are you, Roman? He turned to face her fully. His eyes were darker than the night around them. Someone who's done things you can't imagine, he said. Someone who's hurt people. Destroyed families. Ended lives. He stepped closer. I'm not a good man, Nora. I didn't ask if you were good, she whispered. I asked who you are. For the first time since she'd met him, Roman looked uncertain, like he didn't know how to answer. I'm the man who should have left you on that doorstep, he said finally. But you didn't. No, I didn't. The air between them shifted. Nora felt it. The pull. The weight of something unspoken. Why? She asked. Roman's hand lifted, just slightly, like he might touch her face. Then he stopped himself. Because I'm also the man who can't figure out why you're still here, he said. And then he walked back inside, leaving Nora alone on the balcony. Her heart pounding. Her mind spinning. What the hell is happening to me? Nora started piecing it together. The late night calls. The men in expensive suits. The way Roman moved through the world like he owned it. He wasn't just dangerous. He was powerful. And power like that didn't come from legal business. She confronted him 3 days later. You're Mafia, aren't you? Roman didn't flinch. Didn't deny it. He just set down his coffee and looked at her. Does it matter? Yes. Why? Because I need to know what I'm standing in the middle of. Roman stood and walked toward her. Slow. Deliberate. You're standing in my world, Nora. And my world doesn't forgive mistakes. It doesn't offer second chances. People who get close to me either become part of it, or they disappear. His voice was calm. Cold. Final. So yes, I'm what you think I am. And now you have to decide if you can live with that. Nora's pulse raced. She should have been terrified. She should have run. But instead, she asked the one question she couldn't stop thinking about. Have you ever killed anyone? Roman didn't blink. Yes. The word hung in the air like smoke. Nora swallowed. Why? Because they threaten the people I protect. Would you kill for me? The question left her lips before she could stop it. Roman's eyes darkened. Without hesitation, and Nora realized something that both terrified and thrilled her. She believed him. It happened on a Tuesday. Nora was reading in the living room when the doorbell rang. Roman was in a meeting. Grace was out. She froze. The bell rang again. Her instincts screamed at her not to answer. But something pulled her forward. She looked through the peephole, and her entire world shattered. Ethan, standing on the other side of the door, smiling. What would you do in her place? Nora stepped back from the door, heart hammering in her chest. How did he find me? Ethan rang the bell again, then knocked. Hard. Nora, I know you're in there. His voice. That voice she used to love. Now it made her skin crawl. Come on, baby. Open up. Let's talk. She pressed her back against the wall, mind racing. Where's Roman? She grabbed the phone he'd given her. Her hands shook as she pulled up his contact. Before she could hit call, she heard it. A key sliding into the lock. No. No. The door opened. Ethan stepped inside like he owned the place. His eyes found her immediately. There you are. He looked the same. Clean cut. Handsome. The kind of man people trusted. But Nora knew better. How did you find me? Her voice barely worked. Ethan smiled. That smile that used to make her feel special. Now it just felt like a threat. You really thought you could hide from me? He closed the door behind him. Locked it. I've been watching this place for days, Nora. Waiting for the right moment. You need to leave. Leave? He laughed. Baby, I'm not going anywhere. Not without you. He stepped closer. Nora moved back. We had something good, Ethan said. And you ruined it. You ran. You embarrassed me. You tried to kill me. I tried to teach you a lesson. His voice hardened. But you never did learn, did you? Nora's hand tightened around her phone. Ethan noticed. Who you gonna call? The cops. He pulled a knife from his jacket. The same one from that night. Go ahead. By the time they get here, this'll all be over. Nora's breath came in short gasps. Move. Do something. But fear had her frozen. Ethan raised the knife. And then the office door opened. Roman stepped out. He didn't rush. Didn't shout. He just looked at Ethan. And the temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. Drop the knife, Roman said quietly. Ethan spun around, startled. Who the hell are you? Someone you made a very bad mistake coming to see. Ethan laughed. Nervous now? This is between me and her. You should walk away. Roman's expression didn't change. Last chance. Drop the knife. Ethan's hand tightened around the blade. Or what? Roman moved. It happened so fast Nora barely registered it. 1 second, Ethan was holding the knife. The next, he was on the floor. Face down. Arm twisted behind his back at an angle that made Nora wince. Roman's knee pressed into Ethan's spine. His hand held the knife now. You don't know who I am, Roman said, voice colder than ice. But you're about to learn. He looked up at Nora. Go to your room. Roman. Now Nora. Something in his tone left no room for argument. She ran. Nora sat on the edge of her bed, hands shaking, ears straining. She heard voices. Low. Sharp. Then silence. 20 minutes passed. Then the door opened. Roman stepped inside. His suit was still perfect. Not a hair out of place. But his knuckles were bruised. Is he? Nora couldn't finish the question. Gone. Did you kill him? Roman closed the door behind him. Do you want the truth? Nora nodded. No. But he'll wish I had. Her breath came out shaky. What did you do? Roman walked to the window. Looked out at the city. I made sure he'll never come near you again. How? You don't need to know that. Nora stood. Yes, I do. Roman turned to face her. His eyes were harder than she'd ever seen them. I had him driven 3 states away. Told him if he ever speaks your name again, if he even thinks about you, I'll know. And next time, I won't be merciful. How will you know? Because I'll have people watching him for the rest of his miserable life. Nora felt tears prick her eyes. Not from fear. From relief. Why would you do that for me? Roman's jaw tightened. Because you're under my protection now. And I don't make empty promises. She crossed the room before she could stop herself. Stood right in front of him. Thank you. Roman looked down at her. Something flickered in his eyes. Something human. You should be afraid of me, he said quietly. I know. But you're not. No, she whispered. I'm not. For a long moment, they just stood there. Close enough to feel each other's breath. Close enough for everything to change. Then Roman stepped back. Get some rest, he said, and walked out, leaving Nora with a pounding heart and a question she couldn't answer. Am I falling for him? A month passed. Ethan never came back. Nora stopped looking over her shoulder. And slowly, so slowly she almost didn't notice, she started to feel something she hadn't felt in years. Safe. Roman didn't talk about that night. Didn't ask for gratitude. Didn't change. But things between them shifted. Small moments. Him making her coffee in the morning. Her waiting up when he came home late. Conversations that lasted until 3 a.m. about nothing and everything. She learned things about him. He grew up in Philadelphia. Lost his parents young. Built his empire from blood and necessity. He never wanted this life. But he was good at it. And in his world, being good at something meant you didn't get to walk away. Do you ever wish you could? Nora asked one night. They were on the balcony again. Their spot. Every day, Roman admitted. Then why don't you? Because the moment I try to leave, everyone I've ever protected becomes a target. Nora turned to look at him. Is that what I am? Someone you're protecting? Roman's eyes met hers. You're more than that. The words hung between them. Roman, I shouldn't have said that. Why not? Because you deserve better than this. Better than me. Nora stepped closer. What if I don't want better? Then you're not thinking clearly. Or maybe I'm thinking clearly for the first time in my life. Roman's hands clenched into fists. Like he was fighting himself. Nora, if you stay in my world, there's no going back. You'll be a target. A weakness. People will use you to get to me. Then protect me. I am. No. She reached out and placed her hand on his chest. Felt his heartbeat. Fast. Let me choose to stay. Roman's hand covered hers. You don't know what you're asking. Yes, I do. They stood there. On the edge of something irreversible. And then Roman did something he'd never done. He pulled her close. Not rough. Not desperate. Gentle. Like she was something fragile he didn't want to break. His forehead rested against hers. This is a mistake, he whispered. Then let's make it together. And for the first time in a very long time, Roman Ashford let himself feel something other than control. He let himself feel hope. Do you think this is love or survival? 3 months in Roman's world changed everything. Nora didn't just survive. She adapted. She learned the rhythms of his life. When to ask questions. When to stay silent. When to simply be there. Roman introduced her to his inner circle. Men who'd killed for him. Bled for him. Men who looked at her with suspicion at first. But Roman made it clear. She was untouchable. And in his world, that word meant everything. She started helping in small ways. Organizing files. Managing schedules. Things that seemed mundane but mattered in an empire built on precision. Roman never asked her to. She offered. Because for the first time in her life, Nora felt like she had purpose. One evening, she found him staring at a photograph on his desk. A woman. Young. Beautiful. Wearing a graduation cap and gown. Who is she? Nora asked gently. Roman didn't answer right away. My sister, he finally said. Juliana. I didn't know you had a sister. I don't. Not anymore. Nora sat beside him. Waited. She fell in love with the wrong man, Roman said quietly. Someone from a rival organization. I told her to end it. She didn't listen. He set the photo down. They killed her to send me a message. She was 23. Nora's chest tightened. Roman. That's when I learned the most important lesson in this life. He looked at her. Love makes you weak. And weakness gets you killed. Then why did you let me stay? Roman's eyes searched hers. Because I'm a hypocrite. Nora reached out and took his hand. You're not weak, Roman. I am when it comes to you. The confession hung in the air. Raw. Honest. Terrifying. Nora squeezed his hand. Then we'll be weak together. Roman pulled her close. And for the first time since his sister died, he let himself believe that maybe, just maybe, love didn't have to end in death. It came from the inside. A man Roman trusted. A man who'd been with him for 8 years. His name was Andrew Kellen. And he made a deal with a rival family. The kind of deal that ended in blood. Roman found out during a meeting with his lieutenants. Nora was in the next room, reviewing shipping manifests when she heard the gunshot. She ran. Found Roman standing over Andrew's body. Gun still smoking. 3 other men stood around them. Silent. Witnesses. Roman's eyes were cold. Empty. Get rid of him, he said. The men moved without question. Roman walked past Nora without looking at her. She followed him to his office. Roman. Not now. Talk to me. He spun around. You want to talk? Fine. Let's talk about how the man I trusted with my life just tried to sell me out. Let's talk about how if I hadn't found out, you'd be dead right now. We'd all be dead. His voice didn't rise, but the fury behind it was palpable. This is my world, Nora. This is what you signed up for. I know. Do you? He stepped closer, because that man had a family. Kids. And I just put a bullet in his head without blinking. He betrayed you. And I killed him for it. Yes. Roman stopped. Stared at her. You're not afraid. No. Why not? Because I understand. Roman's expression cracked. Just for a second. Then he pulled her into his arms. Held her like she was the only thing keeping him human. I don't deserve you, he whispered into her hair. You're wrong, Nora said softly. You deserve to be loved. Even in this life. And Roman realized something that terrified him more than any enemy ever had. He loved her. Completely. Dangerously. Irrevocably. The betrayal changed things. Roman became more protective. More watchful. Nora noticed the additional security. Men outside her door. Cars following when she left the house. She didn't complain. Because she saw the fear in Roman's eyes. Not fear for himself. Fear for her. 2 weeks after Andrew's death, Roman called a meeting with his top people. Nora sat in on it. He'd started including her. Trusting her judgment. The Costello family is making moves, said Marcus, Roman's head of security. They're consolidating territory. Pushing boundaries. Let them, Roman said. We're not at war. Yet, another man added. But they're testing us. Then we show them we're not weak. Roman's voice was steel. Double security on our operations. No shipments move without armed escort. What about the girl? Someone asked. Everyone looked at Nora. Roman's jaw tightened. What about her? If the Costellos know about her. They don't. How can you be sure? Because if they did, she'd already be dead. The room went silent. Roman stood. This meeting is over. Get out. The men filed out quickly. Only Nora remained. You can't keep me in a cage, Roman, she said softly. I'm not trying to. Then what are you trying to do? He crossed to her. Cupped her face in his hands. Keep you alive. I'm not Juliana. The name made him flinch. I know that. Then stop treating me like I'm going to disappear. I can't. His voice broke. I can't lose you, Nora. I won't survive it. She placed her hands over his. Then don't push me away. Roman kissed her. Desperate. Intense. Like he was trying to memorize the taste of her. When they broke apart, his forehead rested against hers. Promise me something, he whispered. Anything. If it ever comes down to you or this empire, you run. You don't look back. You survive. Nora's eyes filled with tears. Roman. Promise me. She kissed him softly. I promise. It was a lie. And they both knew it. The threat came 3 weeks later. The Costello family from Chicago. Powerful. Ruthless. Connected. They wanted Roman's territory. And they were willing to burn everything to get it. Roman called an emergency meeting. Nora wasn't supposed to be there. But she listened from the hallway. They've already hit 2 of our warehouses, Marcus said. 8 dead. Millions in product gone. They're sending a message, another voice added. Roman's voice cut through. Then we send one back. Roman, they outnumber us 3-1. They have politicians, judges, half the police force in their pocket. I don't care. Nobody threatens what's mine. Silence. Then Marcus spoke again. They know about the girl. Nora's blood ran cold. What did you say? Roman's voice was deadly quiet. They sent a message. Through one of our guys. Said if you don't step down and hand over your territory, they'll take her. Make you watch while they... The sound of a chair crashing. Everyone out. Now. Footsteps. Doors closing. Then Roman's voice again. Quieter. Broken. Get her a security detail. Round the clock. Armed. Nobody gets within 50 feet of her. Roman. Do it. Now. And find out who leaked her existence. I want them in front of me within the hour. Nora stepped into the room. Roman turned. His face went pale. How much did you hear? Enough. He crossed to her in 3 steps. Grabbed her shoulders. I need you to leave the city. Tonight. No. Nora, this isn't a discussion. You're right. It's not. She met his eyes. Because I'm not leaving you. They'll kill you. Then we fight. This isn't your fight. The hell it isn't. Her voice shook with emotion. You think I can just walk away? Pretend I don't love you? Pretend this life isn't mine now too? Roman's grip tightened. I can't lose you. Then don't. She grabbed his face. Forced him to look at her. We do this together. We survive together. Or we don't survive at all. For a long moment, Roman just stared at her. Then he pulled her into his arms. Held her so tight she could barely breathe. You're going to be the death of me, he whispered. Not if I can help it. The next 48 hours were chaos. Roman fortified his operations. Called in favors. Made alliances. Nora stayed by his side. She saw him make decisions that would haunt him. Saw him sacrifice pawns to protect kings. Saw him become the man his enemies feared. But in the quiet moments, the stolen seconds between phone calls and meetings, she also saw the man who was terrified of losing her. On the second night, she found him alone in his office. He hadn't slept. Hadn't eaten. You need to rest, she said. I will. When this is over. Roman. They killed 3 more of my men today. His voice was hollow. Good men. Men with families. Nora walked behind his chair. Placed her hands on his shoulders. This isn't your fault. Yes, it is. They're coming after me. Everyone else is just collateral damage. Then end it. Roman looked up at her. What? End it. Meet with them. Find a way to stop this before more people die. You don't negotiate with people like the Costellos. Then what do? Roman stood. Turned to face her. You destroy them before they destroy you. The certainty in his voice sent chills down her spine. How? I have a plan. But it's dangerous. And I need you somewhere safe when it happens. No. Nora. I said no. She stepped closer. Whatever you're planning, I'm part of it. I'm not hiding while you risk everything. You don't understand what I'm asking you to do. Then explain it to me. Roman studied her for a long moment. Then he told her. It was insane. Dangerous. Probably suicidal. But it might work. Roman had arranged a meeting with Antonio Costello, the head of the family. Neutral ground. Public place. A restaurant downtown. Expensive. Well known. Cameras everywhere. He'll come with his people, Roman explained. I'll come with mine. We'll talk. Come to an understanding. Or, Nora asked, or we all die in a very public shootout. That's your plan. That's the cover story. Roman pulled out a set of blueprints. The real plan happens here. He pointed to the building next door. While we're meeting, my team will be planting evidence in Costello's main office. financial records, proof of his operations, enough to bring down his entire network. You're going to turn him in? I'm going to give the FBI everything they need to destroy him. Let the system do what I can't without starting a war. Nora, processed this. And what's my role? Roman hesitated. You're the distraction. What? Costello knows about you. He'll be looking for you, wondering where you are. If you're there, at the restaurant, he'll be focused on you instead of what's happening across town. So I'm bait. Your insurance. Roman, I'll have 20 men in that restaurant. Marcus will be at your side the entire time. You'll be safer there than anywhere else. Nora wanted to argue, wanted to tell him this was crazy, but she saw the desperation in his eyes. This was their only chance. Okay, she said. I'll do it. Roman exhaled. Thank you. But Roman? Yeah. If this goes wrong, if something happens to you. He pulled her close, kissed her forehead. Then you run. Like we agreed. Nora nodded against his chest. But she was already planning. If Roman died, she wasn't running. She was burning the Costello family to the ground. The restaurant was called Carmichael's. 5-star. Reservation list 6 months long. Tonight, it belonged to 2 crime families. Nora wore a black dress. Simple. Elegant. Roman's choice. You look beautiful, he said as they prepared to leave. I look like I'm going to a funeral. Let's hope not. The drive was silent. Marcus sat in front. 2 more cars followed behind them. Roman held Nora's hand the entire way. When they arrived, Antonio Costello was already there. He was older than Nora expected. 60s. Silver hair. Expensive suit. He smiled when he saw Roman. It didn't reach his eyes. Mr. Ashford. So good of you to meet with me. Mr. Costello. They shook hands. Costello's eyes shifted to Nora. And this must be the famous Nora Quinn. Her blood ran cold. How did he know her full name? She's with me, Roman said simply. I can see that. Costello gestured to the table. Shall we? They sat. Nora between Roman and Marcus. Costello across from them with 2 of his men. The tension was thick enough to cut. Let's be honest, Costello began. I don't want a war. Too messy. Too expensive. Neither do I, Roman said. Good. Then here's my proposal. You give me control of your shipping operations. I'll let you keep everything else. And if I refuse? Costello's smile widened. Then I take the girl. And I make sure you watch every second of what comes next. Roman's hand moved under the table. Nora knew he was reaching for his gun. That would be a mistake, Roman said quietly. Would it? Yes. Because the moment you touch her, this stops being business. It becomes personal. And when things get personal with me, Antonio, people die. Lots of people. Costello laughed. Big words from a man who's outnumbered. Am I? Roman nodded almost imperceptibly. And suddenly Nora noticed them. Men at other tables. Waiters. The bartender. All Roman's people. Costello noticed too. His smile faded. You think this changes anything? He said. I think it changes everything. Roman's phone buzzed. One message, done. His team had planted the evidence. Here's my counteroffer, Roman said. You walk away. Now. Go back to Chicago. Stay out of my city. And we never speak again. Or I make one phone call, and by tomorrow morning, the FBI will have everything they need to dismantle your organization piece by piece. Costello's face went red. You're bluffing. Try me. For a long moment, no one moved. Then Costello stood. This isn't over, Ashford. Yes, Roman said calmly. It is. Costello and his men left. Nora exhaled. Is it really over? She asked. Roman squeezed her hand. For now. 3 days later, the news broke. FBI raids on Costello properties across 3 states. Arrests. Seizures. The whole organization crumbling. Roman watched the news with a whiskey in his hand. You did it, Nora said. We did it. She sat beside him. What happens now? Now, we rebuild. Strengthen our defenses. Make sure this never happens again. And us? Roman set down his glass. Turned to face her. What about us? Where do we go from here? He took her hand. Wherever you want. I want to stay. Nora. I mean it, Roman. This is my life now. You're my life. I'm not going anywhere. Roman's eyes searched hers. You could leave. Start over. Be safe. I don't want safe. I want you. He pulled her into his lap. Kissed her like she was oxygen. I love you, he whispered against her lips. I know I shouldn't. I know it makes us both targets. But I do. I love you too. Even knowing what I am? Especially knowing what you are. Roman rested his forehead against hers. Then I guess we're doing this. I guess we are. Nora stood on the balcony of their new home. Bigger. More secure. A fortress disguised as a mansion. Roman came up behind her. Wrapped his arms around her waist. Penny, for your thoughts. Just thinking about how different my life is now. Regrets? Not one. He kissed her neck. Good. They stood in comfortable silence. Marcus called, Roman said. The Costello family is officially done. Antonio took a plea deal. 40 years. Is it really over? Nothing's ever really over in this world. But for now, we're safe. Nora turned in his arms. I got something today. What? She pulled out an envelope. Handed it to him. Roman opened it. Inside was a letter from a community college. Acceptance for the fall semester. You're going back to school? If that's okay. Roman smiled. Actually smiled. It's more than okay. I want to do something with my life, Roman. Something that matters. You already do. No. I want to help people. Maybe become a counselor. Work with women like me. Women who've been through hell. Roman pulled her close. You're amazing. You know that? I learned from the best. I'm a criminal, Nora. You're also the man who saved my life. Who gave me a second chance. Who showed me what love actually looks like. Roman's eyes were suspiciously bright. How did I get so lucky? You opened your door at 3 a.m. Best decision I ever made. He kissed her. And in that moment, Nora knew. This was home. Not the house. Not the city. Him. This dangerous, complicated, beautiful man. And she wouldn't change a single thing. It happened on a Tuesday. Nothing special about the day. Roman had been quiet all morning. Nora noticed but didn't push. She'd learned to read his silences. This one felt different. That evening, he asked her to dress up. Where are we going? You'll see. They drove to the waterfront. A private pier. A yacht waiting. Roman, what is this? Just trust me. They boarded. The yacht pulled away from the dock. The city lights sparkled on the water. Dinner was waiting on the deck. Candles. Wine. Her favorite meal. You're being very mysterious, Nora said. Am I? Yes. And it's making me nervous. Roman smiled. Good. They ate. Talked. Laughed. And then, as the yacht circled back toward the city, Roman stood. Nora Quinn. She looked up at him. He got down on one knee. Her heart stopped. When you collapsed at my door 6 months ago, I thought you were a problem I needed to solve. He pulled out a small box. I was wrong. You weren't a problem. You were the answer to a question I didn't know I was asking. Tears streamed down Nora's face. You showed me that love doesn't have to be a weakness. That it can be the strongest thing in the world. You made me want to be better. To do better. He opened the box. A ring. Simple. Beautiful. Perfect. I know this life is dangerous. I know I can't promise you normal. But I can promise you everything I am. Everything I have. For as long as I live. His voice shook. Will you marry me? Nora couldn't speak. She just nodded. Again and again. Roman slipped the ring on her finger. Pulled her into his arms. Kissed her like the world was ending, and she was his salvation. Yes, she finally whispered. Yes. 1,000 times yes. Roman held her tight. And for the first time in his life, he believed in happy endings. They married 3 months later. Small ceremony. Just as close as people. No family. Neither of them had any left. But it didn't matter. They had each other. Nora wore white. Simple dress. No veil. Roman wore a black suit. Marcus stood as his best man. Grace stood for Nora. The officiant asked the questions. They gave the answers. And when Roman kissed his bride, every person in that room knew they were witnessing something rare. Something real. Love forged in darkness. Love that survived the impossible. At the reception, Roman gave a toast. Most people spend their lives looking for their person, he said. The one who sees them. All of them. The good and the bad. The light and the dark. He looked at Nora. I found mine bleeding on my doorstep. And every day since, she's shown me that even in a world like ours, love can exist. Can thrive. Can save us. He raised his glass. To Nora. My wife. My weakness. My strength. My everything. Everyone drank. Nora stood. I'm not good at speeches, she said. But I'm good at truth. So here it is. She looked at Roman. 6 months ago, I was running from a man who wanted to kill me. I had nothing. No hope. No future. And then a stranger opened his door. Her voice cracked. That stranger became my protector. Then my friend. Then my love. He gave me a life when I thought mine was over. He gave me purpose when I felt worthless. He gave me everything. She wiped her eyes. So this is my promise to you, Roman Ashford. I will stand by you. Through everything. The darkness and the light. The danger and the peace. Whatever comes, we face it together. Roman stood, crossed to her, kissed her in front of everyone. And no one looked away. Because this wasn't just a wedding. It was a vow. To survive. Together. Nora stood in front of a small office building. The sign above the door read, Quinn Support Center, a safe space for survivors. Her dream. Finally real. Roman stood beside her. You ready? He asked. I think so. You don't have to be nervous. You're going to be amazing. I just want to help people. You will. You already do. She looked at him. I couldn't have done this without you. Yes, you could have. You're the strongest person I know. I learned from you. No. He turned her to face him. You taught me. You showed me that strength isn't about how hard you can hit. It's about how you survive. How you help others survive. Nora kissed him. I love you. I love you too. She took a deep breath. Opened the door. Inside, 3 women were waiting. All survivors. All broken in different ways. All looking for hope. Nora smiled at them. Hi, I'm Nora, and I want to hear your stories. It happened on a cold November night. Nora was locking up the center when she noticed the car. Black, tinted windows, idling across the street. Her instincts kicked in. She pulled out her phone. Called Roman. Hey, I think someone's watching the center. The car door opened. A man stepped out. Tall. Expensive suit. Familiar. Nora's blood froze. It was Antonio Costello's son. Marco. Nora, what's wrong? Roman's voice was sharp. Marco Costello is here. Get inside. Lock the doors. I'm 10 minutes away. Roman. Now Nora. She ran inside. Locked everything. Called the women inside to the back room. What's happening? One of them asked. Just stay quiet. Stay down. Through the window, she watched Marco approach. He knocked on the door. Mrs. Ashford, I just want to talk. Nora didn't answer. My father's in prison because of your husband. 40 years. He'll die there. Silence. I think that deserves a conversation. Don't you? Go away, Nora called out. Or I'm calling the police. Marco laughed. The police? You think they'll help you? You're married to Roman Ashford. You're one of us now. He pulled out a gun. Open the door, Nora. Let's talk about what you owe my family. Nora's heart raced. Where's Roman? Then she heard it. Cars. Multiple. Screeching to a stop. Doors slamming. Roman's voice cut through the night. Step away from the building, Marco. Marco turned. Roman stood there with 8 of his men. All armed. This is between me and her, Marco said. No. It's between you and me. She's just the excuse you're using. You destroyed my family. Your father destroyed his own family. I just helped the process along. Marco raised his gun. Aimed it at the door. At Nora. Then maybe I should return the favor. 3 shots rang out. Marco dropped. Roman's men had fired simultaneously. Roman ran to the door. Nora. Open up. She unlocked it with shaking hands. Fell into his arms. I'm okay. I'm okay. Roman held her so tight she could barely breathe. We're leaving. Now. Tonight. What? This doesn't end. It never ends. Not while we're here. Roman. I almost lost you. Again. I won't risk it anymore. He pulled back. Looked in her eyes. Pack what you need. We're disappearing. Within 24 hours, they were gone. Roman had planned for this. Had always had an exit strategy. New identities. New city. New life. They landed in a small coastal town in Oregon. Population, 3,000. No one knew them. No one cared. They bought a house overlooking the ocean. Simple. Quiet. Normal. Nora opened a new support center under her new name. Roman invested in local businesses. Became a respected member of the community. To everyone else, they were just James and Sarah Mitchell. A couple who'd moved from California for a quieter life. No one knew about the empire Roman had left behind. The deals he'd made to ensure his exit wouldn't start a war. The favors he'd called in. The bridges he'd burned. 3 months in, Nora woke to find Roman on the porch. staring at the ocean. Can't sleep, she asked. Just thinking. About what? Whether we made the right choice. She sat beside him. Do you regret it? Roman looked at her. Not for a second. Then why do you look so sad? Because I spent 15 years building something. And I walked away from it in a day. You walked away from violence, Roman. From danger. From death. I know. That empire wasn't you. This is you. She gestured to the quiet town. The peaceful ocean. This is who you could have been all along. Roman took her hand. I like who I am now. So do I. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the sun rise over the water. A new beginning. A second chance. For both of them. It came 6 months later. Roman's old phone. The one he'd kept for emergencies. It rang at 2 a.m. Marcus. Roman answered. This better be important. It is. There's a problem. What kind of problem? The Bratva. They're making moves on your old territory. Without you there, it's chaos. Not my problem anymore. Roman, they're killing people. Your people. The ones you promised to protect. Roman's jaw clenched. I'm out, Marcus. I know. But they need you. Just once. One meeting. To broker peace. Then you're done. For good. Roman looked at Nora. She'd woken up. Was watching him. I'll think about it. He hung up. You're going back, aren't you? Nora said. I don't know. Yes, you do. Roman stood. Paced. People are dying because I left. Good people. That's not your fault. Isn't it? Nora got up. Crossed to him. If you go back, even once, you'll be dragged back in. You know that. I know. And you're still considering it. Yes. She took his face in her hands. Then I'm coming with you. Absolutely not. Roman. No. If I do this, I do it alone. You stay here. Stay safe. We're partners. And as your partner, I'm asking you to trust me. Please. Nora's eyes filled with tears. Promise me you'll come back. Roman kissed her forehead. I promise. Roman flew back alone. Met Marcus at a safe house. The meeting's set for tomorrow night, Marcus said. The Bratva wants to negotiate territories. Who's representing them? Alexei Volkov. Roman knew the name. Brutal. Smart. Dangerous. What are the terms? They get your shipping routes. We get to keep the clubs and real estate. That's everything we built. I know. But it's better than a war. Roman considered. Set the meeting. I'll handle Volkov. The next night, Roman walked into a warehouse. 10 years ago, this had been his world. Now it felt foreign. Alexei Volkov waited inside. Tall. Scarred. Cold eyes. The famous Roman Ashford. I thought you retired. I did. Then why are you here? To end this. Without more blood. Alexei smiled. Noble. But unrealistic. Try me. They negotiated for 2 hours. Back and forth. Threats and compromises. Finally, they reached an agreement. The Bratva would get 30% of the territory. Roman's people would keep the rest. No war. No bloodshed. You're a smart man, Ashford, Alexei said. Why did you walk away? Roman thought of Nora. Of their life. Of peace. Because I found something worth more than power. What's that? Happiness. Alexei laughed. In our world, happiness is a fairy tale. Then I'm living in one. Roman walked out. Flew home the next day. Nora was waiting at the house. She ran to him. He caught her. Held her. It's done, he whispered. It's really done. You're sure? Yes. They have a new agreement. New structure. They don't need me anymore. And you're okay with that? Roman pulled back. Looked in her eyes. I'm more than okay. I'm free. 1 year later. Nora stood in the nursery. Pale yellow walls. White crib. Toys everywhere. Her hand rested on her growing belly. 7 months pregnant. Roman came up behind her. Wrapped his arms around her. You okay? Just nervous. About what? Being a mom. Raising a child in this world. Our child won't know that world. They'll know this one. Safety. Love. Peace. You promise? I promise. She turned in his arms. Do you ever miss it? The old life. Yeah. Roman thought about it. Sometimes I miss the power. The control. The respect. But then I come home to you. To this. And I realize I have everything I ever actually wanted. Nora smiled. Even if our kid turns out to be a handful? Especially then. He kissed her belly. This kid's going to have you as a mother. They'll be unstoppable. And you as a father, they'll be dangerous. Dangerously loved. They stood there, in the nursery of their quiet home, miles from the life they'd left behind. And for the first time in either of their lives, they felt completely at peace. Their daughter was born on a Sunday morning. 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Perfect. They named her Lily, after Roman's sister, Juliana. She would have loved this, Roman whispered, holding his daughter for the first time. She would have loved you, Nora said. The man you became. Roman's eyes were wet. I wish she could have met you. Me too. Little Lily opened her eyes. Dark, like her father's. She looked at Roman, and he fell completely, irrevocably in love. Hi, baby girl, he whispered. I'm your dad, and I'm going to protect you from everything. I promise. Nora watched them, her heart so full it ached. She's perfect, she said, just like her mother. Lily ran through the backyard, 5 years old, wild curls, fearless. Daddy, push me higher. Roman pushed the swing, watched his daughter soar. Nora sat on the porch, watching them both. Their life was simple now. Roman ran a construction company. Legitimate. Successful. Nora's support center had expanded, helping hundreds of women. They'd built something real. Something good. She has your stubborn streak, Roman called out. And your lack of fear, Nora called back. Lily jumped off the swing midair, landed in the grass, rolled, laughed. Roman's heart nearly stopped. Lily, be careful. I'm fine, Daddy. She ran to Nora, climbed into her lap. Mama, tell me the story again. Which one, sweetheart? How you and Daddy met. Nora and Roman exchanged a look. They'd agreed to tell Lily an edited version. A version without blood, without violence. A version about love and second chances. Well, Nora began. I was lost. And scared. And I didn't know where to go. And then what? And then I found your father's door. And he saved you? Roman sat down beside them. We saved each other, he said. Lily thought about this. That's my favorite story. Mine too, baby, Nora said. Roman looked at his family, his wife, his daughter, his life. And he thought about that night, the knock on his door, the woman bleeding on his doorstep, the choice he'd made, best decision of his life. I love you, he said to Nora. She smiled. I love you too. Lily looked up at both of them. I love you three. They laughed. And in that moment, in that quiet backyard in that small town, they had everything. Not power, not empire, not wealth, just love. And that was enough. More than enough. It was everything. The end.